you are 6 years old, and today your father gives you to a god. You will not marry, you will not have a child. For 30 years, your body will not be yours. It belongs to Rome. They cut off your hair and hang it on a sacred tree, and they hand you the one thing this whole city believes it cannot survive without: a fire that must never, ever go out. Let it die, and they will strip you and beat you in the dark. Break the other vow, the one about your body, and they will not spill a drop of your blood. Your blood is sacred. That is not mercy. That is the trap. Because if they may not cut you, they will do the other thing. They will put you in the ground while you are still breathing. No one asked the girl. A father does not offer a daughter to Vesta and lose her. He gives her up, and the chief priest of Rome takes her by the hand and leads her out of her family for good. From that hour, you are not a daughter and not a wife, and never will be either. You belong to a flame. You are 6, and you have just been handed the safety of the most powerful city on earth, and no one in that crowd will ever ask whether you wanted it. You did not choose this. A Vestal is not a girl who felt a calling. A Vestal is a girl who was chosen. You were the right age, with no flaw they could find, born to a family that could not say no. And the bargain they strike over your small head is the one this order always strikes. Keep the fire, keep the vow, and Rome will make you something no other woman can be. Break either, and Rome will unmake you in the 2 worst ways it knows. So run the 2 clocks, because they are both already running. The first is inside you 30 years, and they will not pass quickly. You will have what no other woman in Rome can touch: your own property, your own will, your word taken in court without an oath, the seat of honor at the games. And none of it is freedom, because the body that holds those powers is not yours to give to anyone. The second clock is the fire and the grave. Let the flame go out, and the Pontifex Maximus beats you in the dark. Be accused, only accused of breaking the other vow, and Rome needs you under the earth, because your blood is too sacred to spill, so they bury it whole, with you still inside it. You are the safest woman in Rome, and the easiest to put in the ground. Level 1, the hair. It begins with the cutting. They take you, a child, into the order, and the first thing the order does is take your hair shorn off close, the way they shear a thing that now belongs to someone else. And they do not throw it away. They hang it on an ancient tree, a sacred lotus older than your grandfather's grandfather, so that a piece of your childhood swings there in the wind long after you have forgotten the girl it was cut from. Then they dress you in white, a long stola, a veil over the place your hair used to be, woolen bands across your breast, and they give you a new way to live. Not a daughter, not a child, a keeper. You are too small to understand what has been spent. You will understand it slowly, across 30 years, one day at a time. Level 2, the fire. Now learn the work, because the work is the fire, and the fire never sleeps. In the round temple of Vesta, there burns a flame that the whole of Rome believes must never go out, because the day it dies is the day the city's luck dies with it. So it is tended without pause, in turns, through every hour of the day and every hour of the night, by you and the few others who share this life. You learn to feed it, to read it, to keep it from the drafts and the rain, to never, ever leave it untended. And you learn the price of the smallest failure. If the flame ever gutters out on your watch, it is not an accident. It is read as a warning that Rome itself is in danger. And the Pontifex Maximus has you stripped and scourged in the dark for it. A whole city's fear, riding on whether a tired child remembers to feed a fire at the 3rd hour of the night. Level 3, the watch. So this becomes your life, the watch, and the slow learning of what the watch costs. You tend the flame and you walk the forum and you grow, and for a while the bargain looks almost survivable. But you are not the first to wear this veil, and you begin to learn what happened to the ones before you. There are gaps in the order's memory of Vestal who served and then did not, and whose name the older priestesses will not say. You hear, in pieces, that an accusation can fall on a woman like yours for reasons that have nothing to do with the truth. A bad omen the city wants explained. a family with enemies, a man who wanted her ruined. You learn that being innocent is not the same as being safe. And every night you go back to the fire and feed it, because the fire, at least, you can keep alive by hand. Level 4. The night the flame almost died. It is an ordinary night watch, deep in the cold hours, and you are alone with the fire. You feed it as you always do, and it shrinks. A draft no one can find, or a fault in the fuel, and the flame drops to a thread, a single weak thread of light, the smallest it has ever been. And you understand in your whole body what is at the end of this. If it goes out, by dawn the city will know, and by noon you will be stripped and scourged in the dark for letting Rome's luck die. You do not pray. You work on your knees over the hearth, sheltering it with your own hands and your own breath, feeding it the driest splinters, coaxing the thread back up from almost nothing, and it catches. It climbs. By the time the next watch comes, you are kneeling over a steady flame with your hands burned and your face gray, and no one will ever know how close it came. You have just saved your own back from the lash alone, with no one watching. You go on tending the fire. Your hands are still shaking. Level 5. The seat of honor. After that, something strange happens. You stop being only a servant of the fire and start being a power in the city. You walk to the games and the crowd parts, because a Vestal has the right of way and a seat among the highest in the land. Men bring you their wills to keep, because a document in a Vestal's hands is safe from any thief or any court. You give your word in a trial, and they take it without an oath, as if you were holier than the act of swearing. For the first time, you feel the weight of what they gave you, and the cold thought underneath it. Everything that makes you powerful also makes you worth destroying. Level 6. The living goddess. And then, if the fire keeps burning, season after season, and no charge has found you, you reach the height of it, and the height is dizzying. You are no longer the frightened child at the hearth. You are a Vestal in her full power, and in the whole of Rome there is no other woman like you. You can own property and dispose of it by your own will in a city where most women own nothing in their own name. You walk with a lictor clearing your path as if you were a magistrate. You can free a condemned man simply by meeting him in the street. Emperors will rise when you enter. You are, for these years, the most untouchable woman in the world, sacred, honored, feared. Your body protected by a holiness so total that no hand in Rome would dare to lay a finger on it. For one season you let yourself feel it, not a victim of the bargain, but the most powerful woman alive. This is the warmest the world will ever get. Hold it. It does not last. The same holiness that lifts you this high is the holiness that will put you in the ground. Level 7. The charge. Because power like yours is a thing other powers want to use, and the easiest way to use a Vestal is to accuse her. The city suffers a defeat, or a plague, or an omen no one can explain, and Rome looks for the reason in the place it has always looked. Has one of the keepers of the flame been unchaste? Has a Vestal broken her vow and angered the goddess and brought this down on us all? It does not have to be true. It has never had to be true. A name is put forward yours, this time by a man with a reason, or a faction with a need, or simply a frightened city that requires a guilty woman more than it requires a real one. The charge is incestum, that you, sworn to the goddess, gave your body to a man. The proof is whatever they decide it is, and the trial that follows is not really a search for what happened. It is a decision the city has already made, looking for a form to wear. Level 8. The stair. And so you come to the place every Vestal is taught to fear from the first day she wears the veil. They will not behead you. They will not strangle you. Your person is sacred, and your blood may not be spilled by any hand. And that, the thing that kept you untouchable for 30 years, is now the thing that damns you, because if they cannot cut you, they have only one way left. They carry you to the Campus Celeratus, the field of the damned near the city wall, where a small chamber has been dug into the earth, a stone room with a couch, a lit lamp, a little bread, a little water, a little milk and oil, enough that no one can say the city starved you, They take off your veils. They lead you to the top of a stone stair that goes down into the dark. And then, in front of the whole silent city, you go down it alone, and they draw the stair up behind you and pile the earth over the opening and level the ground so that Rome can tell itself it did not kill you. You did not break. You were simply put away where your sacred blood would never touch a Roman blade. Level 9. What it cost. Count it now, because the city will not. You kept the fire that Rome could not live without for as long as your body held, and the thanks for it is the dark. You were given powers no woman of your time could dream of, and they were never yours, because the body that carried them was always the state's, to honor and then to bury. A man might have been exiled or fined or quietly let go. You are put under the ground alive with a lamp that will burn down to nothing, because the same sacredness that made you a goddess made your death a thing that had to be done without a wound. Somewhere above you, the trial is already being forgotten. A bad omen has been answered. The city feels cleaner, and the worst of it, the thing you have time, down there, to understand completely, is that it never mattered whether you were guilty. Rome did not need the truth. Rome needed the fire kept and a woman to blame when its luck turned, and you were both in the same life. Level 10, the flame outlives you. So what survived? Not your name, a Vestal buried for incestum, is a thing the city would rather forget. A line in a grim story told to keep the next girl in line. Not your power that ended the moment the earth closed. What survived is the fire. Up in the round temple in the forum, the flame you guarded with your burned hands on that cold night is still burning, tended now by another pair of hands, because the city still believes it cannot live without it. And tomorrow, or next year, a man will give up another small daughter, 6 years old, no flaw they can find, and the chief priest will take her by the hand and lead her out of her family. And they will cut off her hair and hang it on the old tree, and hand her the fire, and tell her the 2 rules that can end her. She did not choose it, and neither did you. Rome needs a keeper for its flame, and there is always another girl. That was the whole of the bargain you were too young and too sacred ever to refuse. Another life history for God is waiting. Subscribe.